In today's episode, I am sharing the practice of meeting yourself where you are. This practice is hard, but a necessary step if you really want to move through and past old traumas, hard emotions, and stuck energy in the body. Let's get started. Welcome to Live Mindfully with Laurie Moore. This is our 50th episode. How crazy is that? Let's start off this episode with a deep breath in and a long sigh out. Today I am talking about meeting ourselves where we are, especially when we are going through something hard in our lives. And this might look like a problem or a challenge or a hardship that you're currently going through. This might be an old trauma or a pattern or habit that keeps presenting in your life that you're really ready to let go of or change, and you're just struggling in how to do that. This might be something that is happening because of the current state of the world. And at the moment, that would be so reasonable, right? There's so much going on in the world right now that is making us feel fearful. And it keeps us from being in the present moment, and it keeps us from thinking clearly, and it keeps us from our peace. And we feel like when we're in those stages in our life or in those parts of our life where we're struggling, we feel like we are stuck on a hamster wheel with the same annoying thoughts again and again and again, and the same difficult feelings and emotions rising in the body. And the first step is acknowledging when you are in those moments. Acknowledging that this is where you are. And this is an important step because feelings are energy in motion. And emotional energy exists within us. It is already there, but in its natural state, emotional energy is neutral. It is neither positive nor negative. But things happen in life. We have ups and downs, we have challenges, and our minds create stories around those things, and that changes the physiological response and sensation in the body. And when that happens, that converts the emotional energy and charges it as positive, happy, peace, calm, or negative, angry, jealous, tired. It just depends on how we see that experience. And because of the survival mechanism of the brain, the experience of stress, worry, fear, anger, and all of those lower vibrational feelings, the feelings that don't make us feel good, they take priority over happiness and peace, which means our brain is designed to first seek out worry, fear, and anger. And if that is not present, then it can rest in peace and happiness. And this is a protective mechanism. We've spoken about this before. This is so we're not all skipping around the world with a big smile on our face and a tiger chasing our tail, So we have to consciously work toward those feelings of happiness and peace. And we do that by constantly processing and understanding the lower vibrational feelings when they are present in our bodies, by becoming intimately aware of when those feelings exist, and not just understanding why, but acknowledging that they are there. And that's what makes this a much harder practice, because we do have a tendency, a habit of bypassing, of trying to pretend that we don't feel how we actually feel. And that's because being in these emotions and meeting ourselves where we are is hard. And it seems almost easier to bypass or to feed those negative emotions because there is this driving force within us, like attracts like. Stress attracts more stress. Anxiety attracts more anxiety. Worry attracts more worry. Fear attracts more fear. And if we are not paying attention, instead of doing something that positively releases that stuck negative energy, we numb. We drink alcohol. We overuse prescription medication. We eat too much. We scroll social media too much. We gossip. We try to over-control situations. We become very controlling. We try to make everything perfect so nothing can go wrong. And instead of feeling better, we end up feeling worse. And that energy stays stuck. So then we dissociate. We judge ourselves, we become overly critical, and we all arrive at the same junction. I am not good enough, and I deserve what is happening to me. And then this leads us to behave in ways that do not serve us, nor do those behaviors serve those around us. These behaviors are toxic and harmful, not just to us, but to our families and to our friends and to our wider community. And we may think that that ripple effect is small, but when we're all doing it, when we're all yelling at our partners and our kids because we're tired and stressed, this has an overarching impact that right now we probably don't even know what the implications are. And so instead, we need to meet that emotional energy within us, where it wants to be met. And it doesn't want to be met in calm conversation. It doesn't want to be met in meditation or grounding or any activity that elicits a feeling of peace. That's not the vibrational energy it wants to be met with. Like attracts like. It needs to be met where it is. That emotional energy wants to scream and punch and cry. That emotional energy wants to be released through vigorous shaking of the body or pounding the pavement through running or clenching the jaw. That emotional energy needs to move. And when we listen to our bodies and we process those negative emotions in this way by punching cushion pillows or your mattress, or by crying your heart out and screaming into the ether, it's not fair. It's easier to love our humanness. It's easier to forgive ourselves and others for their misgivings. It's easier to find proper solutions to our problems. It's easier to let things go. Because ultimately, that's what we're trying to do. And it's so important that we accept that this is part of the human experience. We are human beings, and every day is meant to bring us ups and downs. Each and every day is going to have its blessings and its challenges. That's how it's meant to be. So don't live in a space of wishing things were a different way. This is how it is right now. And it might suck. And I agree with you. I've been in some times in my life where I've thought, man, this sucks. But when we know how to navigate these ups and downs and how to process this negatively charged emotional energy in the body, we start to work through our days with more grace. We might go, yeah, it sucks, but man, I've got still so much good in my life. So automatically we have more gratitude. We have more presence because we don't numb. We don't dissociate. We don't self-loathe. We don't waste time doing things that make us feel worse. We don't become critical of others and of ourselves. Instead, we shake, we scream, not at another person. We don't transfer that negative energy to another person. We scream into a pillow. We punch, we angry dance, we turn on the ragiest music, and we stamp our feet and we scream the lyrics. We cry. We say, "It's not fair." And we let it out. And maybe you have many, many days strung together where you have pushed those ugly, mean feelings in your body down as deep as they can go. And that's okay, because when we start this practice of meeting ourselves where we are, we release so much each time we engage in that practice. So you're never just purging this one experience of anger, this one experience of hardship. You're purging them all each time. And what I have noticed in this practice, that as time goes on, I start to be less swayed by hard things. The knocks just don't seem to be as bad each time. There are things still, and that will continue to get me angry. But that angriness, that sadness, it doesn't linger for days and weeks and months. It doesn't creep up on me when I'm in the middle of my peace. That anger moves through me really quickly because of that practice. I still have to work to meet myself where I am. And I will be doing this practice until the day I die, of accepting myself, because it is part of my human experience just as much as it is part of yours. And once we have met this feeling in ourselves, and we have to remember that it might not always make sense. Maybe our anger feels disproportionate or our anxiety feels disproportionate to the situation. It doesn't matter. This is the sensation that you are feeling in your body. So we don't minimize it. We accept it. It might not make sense, but does it need to be processed? No. We've all said, "I don't know why I'm so upset about this." It doesn't matter why you're so upset about it. You are so upset about it. So that's where you meet yourself. And when you do, solutions come quicker, as does the ability to ground, as does the ability to reclaim calmness and peace. The trick is catching yourself in the moment and not trying to override that feeling by inducing old habits. When you notice this feeling within you, try to avoid drinking that glass of wine or numbing out with TV. And if that's where you went, acknowledge that, accept it, avoid the judgment, but make a pledge to yourself to spend some time the next day doing the things that are actually going to make you feel better. Pick one of the things that I mentioned earlier and be gentle with yourself. You're doing the best you can. And this practice of meeting yourself where you are is a hard practice. But I know you are strong. And I know you are brave. And I know you are more than capable. You wouldn't be here if you weren't. And I promise you, it's worth it. It's the better way of doing things, of meeting yourself where you are when you're in these challenging and difficult times, when you're feeling those challenging and difficult emotions. Let's all take another deep breath in together and sigh it out. Thank you so much for listening today. I appreciate you and I thank you from the bottom of my heart. If today's episode has resonated with you, please share it across your socials and with your family and friends. And don't forget to tag me. You can tag me on Facebook at Live Mindfully with Laurie Moore or Instagram at lifewithlaurie_. I love seeing when the podcast content has landed. I'll be back again next week with another great episode. Until then, take good care of yourself.